Oh, hey there, guys. It's me, Communist Krusty. I've taken over Louis Hand's live stream because he's a racist China hater. Even though that would make me a massive hypocrite because, by my own logic, that must mean I'm racist because I criticize every other single government under the sun. I criticize America, the British government, every other government apart from China because for some reason I've got my head so far up China's ass, it's hard to see where they begin and where I end. I am just a China lover, or should I say CCP lover, because I really value my freedom of speech and I use freedom of speech against everybody here in the UK. I always pull out that freedom of speech card, and yet at the same time, I crop up a government that really hates freedom of speech, doesn't allow its own citizens to criticize the government, and I make a killing or I base my whole existence on criticizing governments. I just don't quite understand how any of this works. Oh my god, okay. We gotta stop this. Hey there, guys. How's it going? Today, we're gonna talk about my friend Krusty, but let's get him out of here. We do not want to see Krusty ever again. Oh my god. So, welcome to China's Red Line. We've got an interesting show today. So, let me just load up our screen and we will crack on. Here we go. I hope this is the right thing. Play. Yes, it is. Great. Okay, here we go. Let's get to it. So, there's been, I'm pretty sure if you guys follow this live stream, you're probably already aware of this, but for those who are not aware of it, there's been a recent UK national security case involving Chung Bill UN, who is a manager at the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office in London, and Chi Leung Peter Y, a former UK Border Force officer. They were accused of being involved in a surveillance operation targeting Hong Kong pro democracy activists living in the UK. Prosecutors said the operation involved gathering information on activists, including personal details, addresses, movements, and other intelligence, which was allegedly passed on to benefit Chinese state interests. Scary stuff, right? A third man, Matthew Trickett, who was a former Royal Marine and former Border Force officer, was also charged and accused of helping with surveillance activities. There's a video online of him pretending to pour water under some Hong Kong dissident's door and pretending that there's been a water leak, saying that he's the maintenance officer of that building. So Trickett was accused of helping with surveillance activities, although he died. He died after being released on bail before the trial ended. Nothing suspicious there, eh? One of the incidents highlighted during the case involved an attempted entry into an activist's home, like I already said. It's very, very harrowing footage if you see it. I'm not going to play it now because I played it before on a previous stream. So this evidence was presented as evidence of the wider surveillance operation. So the investigation uncovered messages, digital evidence that prosecutors said linked the group's activities together. Y was also accused of misusing access connected to his government role to obtain information. So UN and Y, obviously Trickett wasn't convicted because he apparently ended his own existence. Okay, but UN and Y were convicted under the UK's National Security Act. UN was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Great. While Y received 10 years. Both men denied wrongdoing. And Chinese and Hong Kong authorities rejected the allegations, describing the case as politically motivated. You're damn right it was politically motivated by the CCP to harass and target Hong Kong and Chinese dissidents, transnational repression, which they've been doing on UK soil for the longest of times. And thank goodness, finally, something actually was done about this, because they keep getting away with it over and over again. But finally, we've had some justice. Finally, they have been sentenced. And this has set a precedent for future cases involving CCP targeted harassment, transnational repression cases. So thank the Lord. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. It has happened finally. We have some justice. Okay, so here they are. These are the two accused. Here they are when they go into court, looking all shameful, as they should be.
I treat the conduct in the round as deliberate, concerted and serious. It involved what the prosecution called correctly shadow policing operations, information gathering, the relay of personal data, surveillance, the procurement or attempted procurement of financial information, and arrangements on the ground in this jurisdiction, all directed to activity that you both knew was likely materially to assist a foreign intelligence service carrying out UK-related activities. Mr. Wen, on count 1, the sentence is 8 years imprisonment. Mr. Y, on count 1, the sentence is 6 years imprisonment. On count 3, the sentence is 4 years consecutive. The total in your case is therefore 10 years imprisonment.
All right. So, several days ago, that there was a meeting of Hong Kongers outside the criminal court where they had been prosecuted and where they were getting carried away in the paddy wagon, in the police van, the meat wagon, whatever you want to call it. A bunch of Hong Kongers met up outside the court to celebrate and also to send them a message. So they made this big banner, as you can see here, basically saying like, hey, well, good job, you're going away, you're going to prison. And here they are getting carted away. Just turn that off because I think that music will get a copyright strike. But as you can see, they're getting taken away. Like really putting their cameras up to try and get a shot of their sad, sorry faces. Yeah, I'm not gonna play the music. You see now, I mean, did they see that sign? Probably not. The big banner, but whatever. It's funny. But the Hong Kongers are basically calling to shut down the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office because one of the guys who was convicted actually worked for the Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office, which is a massive embarrassment for them. So a lot of the Hong Kongers are calling for that to be shut down. So it just ties in with that. There's been several protests already. Okay, and would you believe it? Our old friend Krusty showed up to piss off the Hong Kong protesters. Now, obviously, this guy has showed up before. You've seen him in some of my videos before. He shows up quite a lot to harass Hong Kongers and Chinese dissidents because for some strange reason, he really loves the CCP. I'm not quite sure why he loves the CCP so much, but he always seems to show up at these events. He's been at several times when I've been there, and we've always just made fun of him and ripped the shit out of him. But he's just, oh my God, this guy is just insufferable, an insufferable little jeb end. a little bellend. He just shows up all the time, man. It just, oh my God, he just pisses everybody off. And yeah, he is obviously entitled to show up. It is perfectly fine for him to show up. He's allowed to express his opinion, even though his opinion is completely lame. But he always gets in people's faces. And I think his main goal is just to wind people up. He's a wind up merchant. And he did exactly that with these Hong Kongers. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't there, but I've found a few clips of our friend Krusty from various other media outlets. So look at him. Look at what he does, right? Tell me, is this not damaging people's property? Because this does not belong to him. Look, he's kicking it. He's walking on the banner. He's screwing it up. This is an absolute idiot. I'm sorry, but this guy is just a bell end. Just a bell end to the extreme. Look at him. And he's standing on it. Look, holding up his stupid signs. He seems to have a buddy with him. See that tall guy? Apparently, that really tall guy was with Krusty as well. He's like getting into argument with the police and just really, really pissing people off. Yeah, and yeah, he's still got his man bun, although he's receding at the front there, which is kind of embarrassing for him, I'm sure. So this guy, he just keeps showing up. Like he doesn't give up. That's fine, let him do it. Let him do it. But he is just a massive hypocrite because what happens is the police always like tell him to go away or try to separate him from the protesters because he gets too close. He gets so close that it almost gets physical, like he gets up in people's faces saying obnoxious horrible things and whatever. He's allowed to do that, right? But then when the police try to step in and just move him away, get him to the other side of the road, because a counter protest is usually held on the other side, right? You've got the main protest and then you've got the counter protesters. But he just usually shows up on his own because he's the only douchebag who actually supports the CCP. But it's funny that he always moans and complains about his freedom of speech, the cops, the police encroaching on his rights, on his freedom of speech. And then at the same time, he props up the CCP, which is a government that doesn't allow any freedom of speech, and yet he's there supporting it in front of a group of people like the Hong Kongers, the Chinese dissidents, who have ran away here to the UK to get away from the CCP. And then there's this little dickhead just showing up and like getting in their faces, singing stupid communist songs and playing the Chinese national anthem on his pathetic little speaker, and just really kind of just going out of his way to offend and upset them. And that is just really bang out of order. And I'm just going to show you, look, playing CCP songs, standing in front of the banner, whatever, dude, like just do it. Like, take your hands off me. He always does that.
I was eyewitness. Did you set cards? Did he say? Yeah, I just found that and I want to sign. What did he say? So are you just here for protests today?
Yeah, that's kind of my theory with this guy, is that he actually wants somebody to punch him or hit him or get angry with him, and then he can do something later. He always films the interaction as well, although I don't know, I'm not aware that he's actually got a YouTube channel or social media or whatever. I mean, what is his end game with this? What is he trying to achieve here? Does he really love the CCP this much that he'll just show up and support them the way that he does without even like filming it and posting it for everybody to see? Because the only footage that really shows up of him is people sending me clips just to say how annoying this fucker really is. But I don't know, what is his end game with this? What is he trying to achieve? But yeah, he probably wants people to assault him. His hairline seems to be receding in real time. Yes, it does. I mean, I can talk. But I mean, whatever, you know. Like he seems to really love his hair with his tied up in his man bun. I don't give a shit. I just freaking shave mine off these days. You know what I mean? I've accepted defeat. Krusty, maybe it's time to accept defeat with the old hairline there. This was, I believe this was filmed on the same day in the evening, but he's put his balaclava on. He's holding up the same signs, so, you know, he's singing a stupid communist Chinese like anthem. Well, actually, he kind of is, right? I mean, aren't the Hong Kongers and the Chinese dissidents migrants who have come here? And he is really going out of his way to offend them. So, yeah. Shut the fuck up, dude. You can't even sing. Embarrassing, man. You have to laugh though, right? You have to laugh. And you know, like a lot of people say that I'm going out to provoke people walking around with Taiwan's flag. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I'm provoking people, what the hell is Krusty doing? You know what I mean? Anyway, it's ridiculous. So I first found out about this guy. Well, I thought that I first found out about this guy when he showed up with Dr. K, my good friend Brendan Kavanagh, the amazing piano player who had the incident at St. Pancras with China's Little Pinks. Krusty showed up to harass him because Dr. K went viral with that, and Krusty thought that he could ape off of Dr. K's fame and rock up and, you know, make him look like an idiot on his live streams. But the opposite happened, unfortunately. Krusty got made to look like a complete fool.
Up again, okay, but
you've turned up again as well. I was here before you, in fact. Wasn't I?
Well, get out my
Wasn't I here before you?
I don't wish to engage with you.
Wasn't I here before you?
I don't care what you're doing,
I
but
was
just
here
get out my
before
space.
you. It's not your space.
I do not want to
You
engage
think this
with
is
you.
your private, personal
Okay,
studio?
so here we go.
Does this
We've
look
got
like
Krusty
Brendan
here.
Kavanaugh's private recording studio?
Can you take it
Does
out
this
my
look
face?
like
I do not
Brendan's
wish to
private
engage with
studio?
you. Listen.
Is this your office? Is it your private office?
Listen
Is this
carefully.
your private office?
All right, and this was the best moment. And I'm not encouraging this, by the way, and I'm not even saying that he had it coming to him. Violence should never happen in any situation, really, you know. But Krusty really wound these people up. I would say defeat him with words is better than actually getting aggressive with him, you know. It's quite easy to refute his silly, ridiculous arguments anyway. But yeah, when I saw this, I couldn't help but laugh. Oh my god.
I'm not pissing people off.
I'm not pissing people off. Yeah, you were.
Attack me! Call the police! Call the police! Call the police!
I wouldn't mess with that guy.
No.
He's big.
Don't fucking touch me! You're gonna have to call.
All right. Okay. And then, like, you know, I went on a little hunt for other clips of this guy. You know, he's a bit of an anomaly, but he has shown up before. Here he is at a vegan demonstration eating meat in front of vegans.
Call the police if I do not move because I'm holding the steak.
Because you are actively trying to get a reaction out of people you know are vegan.
Are you not
Exactly. He is actively trying to get a reaction.
actively trying to get a reaction out of everyone else as well? Finally, call the police. Hello, officer. She just violently ripped that out of my hand. I was about to eat those steaks. You're gonna put my steak in the bin. Excuse me.
Why are we doing this again, mate?
And then here's another time where he was just annoying these security guards at some venue. I'm not even sure where it
You
is.
tell me. It's a very good question,
No,
mate.
no, you're not
Don't
allowed to.
touch me.
You're
Don't
not
put
allowed
your
to.
hands
You're not
on me,
allowed
mate.
to. You're not
Don't
allowed
put your hands on me.
touched me.
You shoved me. Do not grab me, mate. Take your hands off of me right now. Do not strangle me. Do not strangle me. Look at what you're doing. You're causing marks on my... you touched me first. You're a criminal, man. You're an unbelievable criminal. Look at what he just did to me. Marks and everything. Look at this. Film this, yeah? Film this. Film this. You pushed me first.
You need to
for
step
no
away.
reason whatsoever.
You need to step outside
After
the venue.
accusing me of being drunk. Am I drunk?
I think you are, mate. You're drunk on like CCP gutter oil or something.
Do you think I'm drunk?
Yes.
And then here he is harassing a Jewish guy who's actually protesting against the Uyghur genocide, right? And he's like trying to get all high and mighty with this Jewish guy who obviously has relatives who went through the Holocaust. And Krusty's trying to educate this guy about genocide. Jesus Christ.
My family was in concentration camps 80 years ago, you know.
Is that why you're here today? Because you feel an affinity for the Uyghur cause?
It's happening again. There are millions of women, men and children in concentration camps and slave labor again. It's never happened on this scale. It's only once happened in human history, and that's happening for a second time. And you're singing pro-Chinese songs in celebration of the perpetrators. There are people today who still deny that the Holocaust happened, and you are denying that the Holocaust, what is happening in China is actually happening again. You get these people.
Thank you
I'm
for
so
sharing
sorry
your
for-
views. Thank you for sharing your views. I genuinely appreciate that.
I'm sure you do, Krusty. I'm sure you do. You don't give a shit, right? Even though the CCP is committing atrocities against the Uyghurs, all you care about is propping up this ridiculous, horrible government. Man, it's just quite disturbing, isn't it? And here he is again. There's like a vegan demonstration, and he's
to speak out against the horrific torture and cruelty that you're hearing right now through those speakers. Watch the ignorant documentary. Have some meat. It's good for you. Don't listen to Dumb and Dumber over here. At least I don't trust the American Dietetic Association for my health advice. You trust your grandma who told you to eat your pork chops at the table. That's right, I do trust my grandma. Thank you very much. Always trust my grandma. I wouldn't eat anything that my grandma wouldn't recognize as food, sir.
I mean, you have to admit he is funny, right? You can't help but find him amusing. Even though he's a complete bellend, you still have to laugh at him, right? I guess that's probably like the sort of like impact that he wants. That's the kind of reaction he wants as well, you know, is just the people to laugh at what he says. He's drinking milk in front of him.
Are you finished?
And here he is, he's like harassing some Hong Kongers outside the mega embassy at a very small little protest. He rocked up.
Are you finished? Are you finished? Are you
Big smile on his face.
You're doing something wrong. That's why you mask up. Because you are doing something wrong. That's why you mask up. If you're doing something right,
With his goofy ass friend. Look, who's his goofy? Look at that guy. Who is his goofy friend with the big cheesy grin on his face, loving every minute of that, harassing Hong Kongers? Look, who is this douchebag? With his, he's probably looks like he's wearing a MAGA cap.
I know. I take this picture. Your people. Your citizens.
What he said to them.
And then he followed them to the local Weatherspoons pub as well. Man, like he actually followed them. Like how creepy is that? Following the Hong Kongers when they went to the pub, for God's sakes. Look, there he is outside the pub. Trying to get in to harass them some more. Like, dude, fucking get a life, man. creep. That's so creepy, dude. This is the first clip I ever saw of him where he's harassing the Falun Gong in Chinatown. The Falun Gong, you know, even if you think they're some crazy ass cult, whatever, right? Whatever, they still have the freedom to do what they want to do in the UK, to practice their religion, their spiritual stuff, whatever they do, right? They still have that right to do that here, which is something that they don't have in China. They were completely persecuted by the Chinese government. Was it Jiang Zemin and his cronies, you know, completely eradicated them? And now there's claims of forced organ harvesting and all this stuff, right? And Krusty's there in Chinatown just being a complete dick.
你们的言论自由，我有我自己的言论自由。
可以诽谤我的信仰。
我当然可以诽谤。
你不可以。
我可以。
把名字连上来。
你滚！
把那个照片把它照下来。
Sure, they're gonna take a picture of me.
This was when Krusty had more hair. This was several years ago. He kind of looks a bit like Bradley Cooper in that film Limitless, you know? This is when Krusty was kind of cool looking back in the day, you know? And okay, and this was like one of the best encounters that we ever had with Krusty on my channel. The best footage of Krusty you will ever see.
Balaclava!
He ripped his balaclava. I just like the way that he's shaking like a complete coward, right? He wants to get a reaction out of people, but we got a great reaction out of Krusty. He scared the shit out of him. And nobody actually like hit him or anything. They just surrounded him and maybe pushed him around a little bit, but he was shitting his pants. Brilliant.
Holy shit. Look at his man bun.
Look at him shake. And he's calling me Taiwanese independence, sort of like scumbag, I guess, or something. Taidu Liu Meng. Like, yeah.
Man bun, Krusty! You've got a man bun! Stay.
This was the best part when he got taken away.
Krusty in the meat wagon, Krusty in the meat wagon, la 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 la, la 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 la. Krusty's in the meat wagon. Bye bye, Krusty!
Yeah. Probably the best scene when the door closes and we don't have to look at him anymore. But yeah, it's just interesting how when he shows up, right, he's always playing some music. He's always there to interrupt the activity that's happening, to really wind people up. It's not like he's on the other side of the road having his counter protest. He actually goes right up to the front, playing his music, disrupting the whole thing. At that point, when he showed up, somebody was giving a speech. He completely interrupted it. You know, how rude is that? You know, we were supposed to be there on that day. We'd already arranged to be there. The police were already informed that we were going to be there. We'd pretty much booked that area. That's what you could kind of see it as. And he crashed the party. He shows up, like, playing his shit Chinese communist songs, spewing out his ridiculous CCP propaganda, saying profanities to people in Mandarin to really wind them up. And he expects that he's not going to get kicked out. He's not going to get arrested. He expects that he expects that it's just okay to do that. No, it's not. Okay? And he just keeps on targeting the Hong Kongers. He keeps showing up. He's always there. He's kind of like the mascot at this point. You know what I mean? And people, a lot of the Hong Kongers are really just getting fed up with him. And yeah, I can see why. So, Krusty, my friend, if you ever catch this live stream, you probably won't because you sew up your own ass. But if you do catch it, hey, man, like, look, the next little protest thing, let's have a debate. Show up, man. We'll have a proper debate instead of you arsing around the way you do. Let's have a serious debate here, okay? You can call me whatever you want. You can call me a racist. You can say whatever you want, okay? Even though none of it is true, because how is criticizing a government racist? You're saying that the Chinese government is all of the people of China must respect the government and be beholden to the government, that the Chinese people and the government are the same. Well, what about all of the Chinese dissidents that have ran away, that have fled the CCP? They run away to the USA, they run away to Europe, to the UK, Australia. What about those guys? Aren't they supposed to love their government? So how can somebody be a racist for criticizing a government? It doesn't make sense. You're going to have to do better than that if you show up to debate me, my friend. But yeah, Krusty, show up to the next one. I'll be there and I'll see you there. I'll even post about it. I'm going to post an invitation to you. Come and have a proper debate. Don't wear your stupid balaclava. Let's get serious for once, Krusty, because you, my friend, are taking the piss. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's live stream. Man, Krusty's just, yeah, whatever, really, whatever. He's just annoying. Yeah, exactly. He's counterproductive. Like, what does he do, man? He just shows up. Why doesn't he film it? Why doesn't he start his own channel where he can have all of his subscribers watching how amazing he is, how great he is for supporting the CCP and pissing off all of the Hong Kongers? Yeah, probably, man, probably. But whatever, like, let's just try it, Like, I'm so fed up with him, seeing him, people posting messages to me about him saying, like, why is he always showing up? That's what the little pink said about Dr. K when he talked about the CCP Chinese flag. Well, yeah, like one of Krusty's arguments, I think, was like, well, how are the Chinese people supposed to what was it? Ah, man. What did he say? There was something like he kept saying it to Brendan. Like, how are the Chinese people supposed to celebrate if they didn't have their flag, as if to suggest that the only way Chinese people can celebrate is with their flag, which is ridiculous, and I would say, well, how about they just show the Taiwanese flag instead, and why does China block people in Taiwan from celebrating their nationality at sporting events, like by banning the usage of their flag, by making them call themselves Chinese Taipei, for God's sakes? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that we can mock China's flag if we want, right? If we're living in a free country, we're allowed to mock whatever flag we want. You know what I mean? So yeah. What was it he kept saying to Dr. K? Man, I just forget now. Yeah, he probably would. He probably would. And yeah, for him to suggest like all 1 billion Chinese people love the Chinese Communist Party is absolutely absurd, right? And this Harvard study that these people always cite is absurd as well, saying that, what was it, like 90% of the population love their government. I mean, if you hold a gun to somebody's head and you say, hey, look, you better say that you love me and that you support my policies and you support my government. You hold that gun to their head, what are they going to say? Of course they're going to say yes. Do you seriously think that the Chinese people are going to say anything bad against their government, knowing the fact that if they do say anything bad about their government, they could go to prison? Give me a break. Last Thursday at sentencing protest, he declared he supports Iran also. Yeah, he's just an authoritarian dictator lover, isn't he? Just an authoritarian dictatorship lover. Man, he probably would love to be told what to do, by an authoritarian dictator, even though he's constantly like arguing for his freedom of speech, saying that his freedom of speech has been violated all the time. Can you imagine what he would be like in China? Would he just be agreeing with everything the government did with his head down? He wouldn't be able to do anything that he does here in the UK and China. He'd be screwed. The memory will come back for next week on Monday. That's incredible, Richard. It is. It's ridiculous. Most people in CCP China. Indeed, man. Indeed. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, the guy's pretty insignificant. Even though I've done a whole live stream about him, he is kind of like pointless, really. I just find him amusing. I think it's funny to talk about him, and I think it's interesting to see a guy like him. Like, and I just really want to know, like, what motivates him, really. What motivates this guy? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, man, like, the fact that he supports the CCP is just concerning. It is a concern. Anyway, guys, look, I cannot see many chats coming through, so I may have to end the stream. I've pretty much talked about everything that I want to today. It's been quite interesting, though. We've seen a couple of clips of Krusty. I think somebody asked, where did I find these clips? People just send them to me, because obviously, like, ever since I first featured Krusty on this channel, a lot of people have sent me clips of him, like, saying, is this Krusty? I saw this video here. Is this Krusty? And yeah, so because of those videos, because people sent me them, then I've just gathered like a little like library of Krusty's antics. Yeah, why is he recording? That is the mystery. That is the mystery. Like, what's he using it for? What is he using it for? Who knows, right? Who knows? Apparently, like, I remember hearing him talking about how he uploads the clips to some like police evidence gathering website. So if he's doing that, that means that he's like trying to find ways to prosecute people, perhaps, allegedly. But yeah. You should do a semi-regular stream entitled What Krusty Did Next. Krusty is obnoxious, a contrarian. Indeed. Indeed. Here in the UK, quite a lot of people like Krusty love dictatorships. Well, they do, maybe, but if they had to actually go and experience living in one, they would quickly change their tune. I can tell you that much. Like they probably love the idea of like some authoritarian dictator being in control, and just, dictators can get things done faster because they can just utilize all of their power and command people to do whatever they want. And there's like, like the Chinese people, for example, they're just expendable because there's no laws to protect the people. The government can just use them to build all of these fancy new buildings, these infrastructure projects. They can use the people because they're expendable. There's no laws to protect them. So yeah, they might like that because a dictator can get things done quickly. But then when you're on the receiving end of that dictator, then it's another thing, isn't it? When you're one of those expendable people, then you are screwed, right? And yeah, people, they don't really think clearly about this, do they? Fucking idiots. Yeah, they've never been to China, or if they have been to China, they've only been on the nice little tours, and only to the big cities. They've never actually been to the real China, where most of the population actually lives, you know, outside of the big cities in the countryside where most places probably don't even have running water. They don't even have a proper toilet. They have to go in the garden, fucking shit in a hole in the ground. And all of the roads are just fucking awful, man. Like, seriously, really bad. You think the roads in the UK are bad with the potholes? Go to rural China. My God, you can fucking barely drive down these roads. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they're tourists, dude. They're just tourists. They've never seen the real China. Yeah, exactly, man. It was like, it was pretty awful, to be honest with you. Yeah. And you know, the people in China, they make it work, don't they? They just get on with it because they can't do anything about it. They can't even criticize the government. They can't make a change for the better. It's impossible for them. So they just get on with it. They just put their heads down. I feel sorry for them. 1,000 years. Well, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration. Who knows, though? And to say, you know, like I was in China 6 years ago, right? 2020, I left. So surely it hasn't changed that much in 6 years. And from a lot of videos that I see online in and around China, and I see it quite a lot, obviously, it's kind of like my job to see these clips, isn't it? And I can see that it hasn't improved. Yeah, sure, they've got shiny buildings. They've got more LEDs put on the buildings. Amazing. Wow. They do have a great high-speed rail network, even though most of the population can't afford to use it. And a lot of them still travel on the sleeper trains, on the slow trains, as they call them. You know, they've got all of that. They've got shiny buildings, nice trains, a bit of, like, you know, new subways, maybe, although a lot of them like fall apart. A lot of the buildings fall apart as well. Yeah, they've got all of that, but still the countryside still is people living in squalid conditions, people living in abject poverty. You don't have hot water, running hot water, you don't have a toilet in your house. I would say that is poverty, right? And that is China. A lot of buildings built before 2020 have probably fallen down by now. Possibly. I was invited to a house because we were supposed to climb a mountain in the afternoon, but ended up staying overnight. Had a well of water and bucket for piss. Jesus Christ, man. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Krusty wasn't a member of this UK Communist Party, to be honest with you. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're kind of like going through the same stuff here. We know all about this, don't we? High-speed rail, that's tofu direct construction, won't last 20 years. Yeah, I mean, if you want to see great high-speed rail, go to Taiwan. They have amazing high-speed rail, really efficient, works really fast, cheap, affordable. People in Taiwan can afford to take the high-speed rail. It's not that expensive. What was it like? Maybe it was about, in pounds, like 15 pounds or something to go from Taichung to Taipei. And it took an hour or so as well on the high speed train. Amazing stuff. Amazing. And it was affordable. Oh, hey there. It's Kim. Hey, mate. Everybody say hi to Kim Billy. He is one of the Hong Kongers who Krusty annoys. He's one of my friends, one of the Hong Kong protesters. Really great guy, great guy. Always supports my work and the channel. Yeah, so everybody say hi to Kim. HSR is super cheap. It is, mate. It is. I was surprised. Because I come from the UK and where trains are very expensive and really unreliable. So being in Taiwan and using their high-speed rail was amazing. Amazing. I was just in awe of their high-speed rail. I really was. I even made a couple of videos. They're my most popular videos on my YGZ Taiwan channel. Yeah, Taiwan's high-speed rail is amazing. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Yeah, everybody's saying hi to Kim. Yeah, really great guy. Hi there. Yeah. Oh, and we've also got Theo Tang, who's from Toronto. I don't think I've ever seen you in here either. So welcome, welcome. How are things in Toronto? Speaking of trains, there was a really, really serious train accident here in the UK a couple of days ago. I don't know if you saw the news about that, but there was a train going from Corby to London St Pancras, and it crashed into another train around the Bedford area, just smashed right into the back of a stationary train. The train driver died, unfortunately, and I think over 80 people had some serious injuries. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad because actually that is the train network that I take, East Midlands Rail. And yeah, it's actually pretty scary. You know, I never thought that you always feel safe on the trains here in the UK, and to hear that something like that has happened just makes me think that something is seriously wrong here in the UK at the moment. It was pretty bad, and I actually was scheduled to go to London tomorrow, but unfortunately, because of this incident, a lot of the trains have been cancelled. There's replacement buses now. It's pretty bad. So I might not be going to London this week to record a video because yeah, the trains are in disarray at the moment. So I might have to go somewhere else and do a video for once instead of London. But it's a bit disappointing. But yeah, obviously it's pretty bad, you know, like, and yeah, really terrible that a train driver died because of this. Really bad. You should look at the news about it anyway. It's pretty awful. Yep, it happened in Bedford. Keep up the good work, one and all. Thank you, mate. I stayed in a house in the countryside. Oh yeah, dude. I remember the first time I ever saw a squat toilet was in France at a service station. This was in the 90s though. Yeah, yeah. And then like I didn't see another squat toilet until I moved to China, and my first place where I lived actually had a squat toilet. I was like, how the fuck do you use this? I ended up buying a chair and cutting a hole in the chair, and it's like a fold-up chair, and I could like unfold it, sit on it like a toilet, and take a dump because I didn't know how to use the squat toilet. It took me a while to figure it out. I actually went to that extreme of like cutting a hole in a chair. It was ridiculous. Anyway, that's enough of the toilet chat. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I misaimed the first time. Yeah, dude, like how are you supposed to know how to do that? He lived in France for 5 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I can count in French. That's about it. Je ne parle pas français. Parlez-vous anglais? Squat toilet in France. I did not know that French could do it. Oh, oui, they can. They can do it. Because I saw it. Well, I didn't see them actually doing it. 3-year-old boy is being pushed into a zoo crocodile dent here. What? Where? It's random. What the hell? That's scary. Imagine that. Ah, yeah, that's some scary stuff. That's some scary stuff. Right, guys, on that note, I am going to go. But thank you so much for joining. Thank you for liking the stream because I'm sure every one of you gave me a thumbs up, right? If not, now's the time. But yeah, guys, thank you for joining me. We'll have another stream next week. We do the same. We do this stream every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. GMT, whatever time that is where you are. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, thanks again for joining, and I will see you in the next one next week. And yeah, just remember, man, like we shouldn't really be taking Krusty seriously. He's not a serious guy. He's a piss taker, and it's fun to take the piss out of him as well. And yeah, I feel like maybe if he rocks up, we'll try and have a debate. We'll see where it goes, you know, before he starts trying to shout and sing stupid songs and call me all sorts of names under the sun. But yeah, we'll see where it goes with that. I'm not promising anything, by the way, because I could end up calling him names and shouting at him as well. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.